हाँ जी, लाइव कमिंग। अच्छा, फोन ऑन है तो अब अच्छा, तो फोन ऑन है। अब जब भी इंस्ट्रक्शन कोई आएगा तो आप मुझे दे देना, मैं कान पे लगा के बैठा हूँ। ओके ओके, ठीक है। ओके, आई एम स्टार्टिंग। Namaskar. Hi, everyone. This is Debu Nayak from Washington, D.C. I want to thank the Embassy of India for inviting me to be a part of this exciting program. And I especially want to thank Mr. Shambhu Hakiji, the Cultural Minister, for organizing such a wonderful performance series. This evening, I will demonstrate and talk a little bit about the North Indian percussion instrument, tabla. And this is coming live on to you via Facebook. So if you have any questions or anything that you might want to ask later on, ask me, but hold it till the end. There will be a 15 minutes Q&A session. So hold it till then. So what I just played is in the beginning of this program is called Utan. Utan, my school is Farrukhabad and a little bit of Punjab also. Utan is something that you play in the beginning of a tabla solo. Following the Utan, what I played is called a Theta. A Theta is set to tin tal in this case, which is 16 beats. It's a staccato sort of beat, and the rhythmic cycle of this particular beat was tin tal and in a particular slow tempo. So let me tell you what this is all about. What basically we are dealing with here is a rhythmic cycle. So what is a rhythm? In the context of Indian music, North Indian classical music, in this case, and when it comes to tabla, it belongs to North India. And the rhythm is a sort of looked at as a visual tempo. Think of it like this, as a picture that is going in front of you in a particular visual format. It's also known as beat. It's also known as a movement piece. We in India call it tal. Why tal? The word tal came from tali, because we clap when we enjoy music. We clap when we try to keep a rhythm. We clap when we are doing or enjoying music. So this movement of music is in time. That's what it's called. So in solo, the rhythm is more descriptive, and in accompaniment, it's more emotive. What does it mean? The accompaniment it assimilates. It is similar to our heartbeat that keeps a steady flow of blood to the organs, and that's how the body moves. So in Western music, there are 5 types of rhythms. In Western music, there are 5 types of rhythms. Suresh ji, aa raha hai? Are we? Is it coming? Are we live? Okay, so I'll continue then. So in the Western music, what I was explaining is what is where we are right now in the West. There are 5 types of rhythms in there according to their music theory. So there are random rhythms, there are regular rhythms, alternating rhythms, simple rhythm, and complex rhythm. So in the rhythmic section in the West, what we deal with here are in a staccato sort of format. But in India, it's more complex. We not only cover those 5 elements of rhythm, but we also cover more complex rhythms. For example, to give you in this case, an example would be bending a note. In the West, this concept doesn't exist. So how do I bend a note? So for example, you're doing ghe 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 ghe. The ghe 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 is if it is considered note while playing peshkar, you can emote or you can sort of stretch a note like this in the baya. So these kind of things only exist in our tabla syllable or drumming syllable. And anyway, so to understand tal, it is very important to understand what is a beat. A beat is a basic unit of time. In Indian music, the beat is kept by clapping or counting numbers. So what we do when we learn tabla, we clap and we keep beat, or any tal, for that matter. Let me demonstrate what I mean by that. So for example, teen tal I just played. So when we keep count of teen tal, we go like this: dha, din, dha, din, da, dha, tin, ta, din, da. So beat is a tal, and when a mathematical rhythmic structure is added to it in the course of time, it's also known as jatti. Jatti means it changes patterns. So for example, here, a tin tal is a chatasra jati tal, means it's expanded as 4, 4, 4, 4. So dha, din, dha, count is 4. Dha, din, dha, again 4, dha, din, dha, dha, tin, ta, din, dha. So there are similar chatasra jati tal. For example, kaharva or ek tal is a tishra jati tal. Ek tal is din dhage treke tunna katta dhage treke dinna. So din dhage treke tunna katta dhage treke dinna. So we play accordingly, and I want to make a note here that the beginning of the cycle is of any tal is called sam. So if I'm playing tin tal, so da, din, da, din, da, din, ta, din, da. That dha is the sum of the beginning of that cycle. So every time we start a new cycle, the sum comes, and the first note is the sum, and the 9th note in this 4-4-4-4 cycle is the 9th beat. So dha, din, dha, din, dha. Na is the unclapped or khali. That's that's called the khali or the unclapped. So dha, din, dha, din, dha, din, ta, din, dha. So now let me briefly demonstrate the Theta in complex rhythm. I'm going to go at a little bit faster mode. So, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So the speed it up a little bit, go like in this speed. Da, din, din, da, da, din, din, da, din, din. Da, din, din, da, da, din. Da, din, din, da, kere, kere, da, da, din, 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 da, ge, te, te, da, da, din, kere, kere, din, din, da, tere, kere, da, ge, te, te, da, 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 di, da, 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 di, sum. So this is how we stretch it out and make it a little bit complex because it is a stretched out section of the 4-4-4-4 expansion. So that's why if you want to make it simple, you can keep it simple. If you want to make it complex, we have that flexibility here to do that. And in between, you can punch in other syllables if you want to, if you think that is musical, and if you're accompanying somebody, you can punch that in. So when all of these is put together, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so I'm going to play the Theta first, and then a peshkar, and then a qaida. So what is the peshkar? A peshkar is, it comes to open up a particular solo performance. It's almost like in a vocal music, it's called the alap section of the vocal music. The very meditative and very slow movement syllables are being practiced in this section. So again, starting with the Theta, and then the peshkar, and the qaida. So I am going to play qaida, but before I get into that, a little bit of complexity in the teen tal that I wanted to introduce a little bit earlier. So in a different speed of teen tal, da din din da da din 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 da din 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 da din da da din 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 da din din da din din da din 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 da din din da din din Incidentally, this is a complex structure that I just inserted in within the teen tal cycle in that particular rhythmic pattern, but it is hitting the sum at the time of the beginning of the staccato Theta, which is teen tal. This particular composition is composed by Pandit Ravi Shankar, and it was introduced back in the 60s. I heard it somewhere, and it stuck with me. Anyway, so coming back to the performing or opening up a tabla solo with a particular type of movement, which is called peshkar. So in a Farrukhabad peshkar, or the Farrukhabad style, a school of tabla, this is how we do it. So da, direct, din, da, da, din. that's a short Peshkar movement from the Farrukhabad Gharana. Now I'm going to play a Qaida from Farrukhabad Gharana also. After the Peshkar finishes, and this I played a very short version. Usually Peshkars are much more longer, but due to time constraints, I wanted to show everybody a little bit of glimpses of different things from the different schools. Anyway, next comes the Qaida movement. The Qaida, in this case that I chose, is also from Farrukhabad. I was initially thinking about Delhi Qaida, but then I debated maybe Delhi Qaida I'll play a little bit later. So Farrukhabad Qaida, this particular Qaida is taught at the very beginner's level and also popularized by one of the Tabla maestros and the legends of Tabla, Ustad Ahmed Jan Thirakwa Khasa. It goes basically like this. So that's a short demonstration of Farrukhabad Peshkar. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Tabla Gharanas or Tabla schools. This question was asked once to famous Tabla maestro, Ustad Ahmed Jan Thirakwa Khasa, who was a legend of Tabla in the Indian Tabla schools. So he said there are two Gharanas, Delhi and Purab. Delhi Gharana is where it all started, and then it moved on to the Purab means the vast, the land that is on the east of Delhi. The whole region that is on the east of Delhi is in the Tabla world known as Purab. Now it's, back in those days, it used to be called the Purab, but now it's different states, UP and so on. So the Purab is a huge region. There are three separate Gharanas that came out of it. The first came Lucknow School of Tabla, and then came Rampur Farrukhabad, and then came Ajrada. I may be here and there in terms of exactly what time sequence they came, but around the same area, same time, these three Gharanas started. So the Lucknow School was in the court of Wajid Ali Shah, and the court musicians were very well respected. So Lucknow School started at this time, and then later on came Banaras. Banaras Tabla players got influenced by Lucknow School, and then they started their own school in Banaras, and then later came Punjab. So let's first start with the difference between these schools and how they flourished. So Delhi School, where it all started, Delhi School started with the finger technique of two fingers. And their style of playing was in their qaidas and in the syllables practice. For example, let me demonstrate you how Delhi School, famous Delhi qaida called dhati te dha dhati te dhage tu nage. So it's played like this. Dhati te, dhati te, dha dhati te. These two fingers are very strong. So this qaida is very famous, and everybody plays this, and everybody when they first start learning tabla, they play this. So dhati te, dhati te, dhati. is a short example of Dilli Qaida. Now, Dilli Qaida also gave birth to this Qaida, this school in Purab, and which is the Lucknow School. The Lucknow School literally flourished out of the courts. And this school, the tabla players literally grew with the dancing feet of the Kathak dancers in the court of Wajid Ali Shah's court. So the tradition of these royal courts were very important, where tabla players were brought in and they would accompany Kathak dancers. So now a little bit of demonstration of the Kathak style Qaida that got evolved. So this Qaida is very popular and everybody plays this Qaida. I'm going to demonstrate a little bit. It's called tak dhene tak dhene tak dhene tak tete tete ghegete irenak dhene tak tene tak tene tak tene tak tete tete ghegete gherenak dhene. So that's a little bit of demonstration. I could play it much bigger, much larger, but due to time constraints, I'm just cutting it short a little bit. So next school is Ajrara. Ajrara is a school that is the main exponent of this school is, oh, by the way, the Lucknow exponent, there are quite a few famous tabla players from the Lucknow School that came. Ustad Abid Hussain Khan, Wazid Hussain Khan, Afaq Hussain Khan, and now we all know the name of Pandit Sapan Chaudhary, who is a wonderful exponent of Lucknow School. And now moving on to Ajrara Gharana. Ajrara is not too far from Lucknow, where this particular school was born. Ajrara Gharana was made popular, was popularized by Habibuddin Khan Sahib. And Habibuddin Khan Sahib popularized a particular syllable as his emphasis was more on the Baya side. So the Baya is something that he accented a lot in his compositions. So this particular demonstration that I'm going to give is one of his compositions. It goes like this. Din dhage na dha, dhage na dhati ke ghete ke din dinagin, dha kre dhete te dhena dhati ghena dhati ke ghete ke din dina. Din dhage na dha, dhage na dhati ke ghete ke din dinagin, dha kre dhete te ghena dinagin, take na dha, take na dhati ke ghete ke din dinagin, dha kre dhete te ghena dhati ghena. So this is a short description of Habibuddin Khan Sahib's Baya-based Qaida, Din Dhaganada, Dhaganadati. When it's played in top speed, the Baya would talk, or they also call it the pigeon talk, or kabutar boli, because this particular composition, when played on top speed, it sounds like pigeons are talking. So it's a very beautiful composition that he played. And if you get a chance, please listen to his repertoire. And Zakir ji also plays. A lot of other people also, other maestros also play this particular, especially Anindo Chatterjee, Zakir ji, Shubhankar Banerjee. They all play this composition on Ajrada. The next gharana I'm going to talk about is Banaras. And Banaras, a lot of people that I have read from the textbooks and other books, that Pandit Ram Sahai ji started this gharana. And so he is from Banaras, and he actually studied with Abidus Khan Sahab. And he studied also with many other maestros, and then brought all this learning to Banaras. And so Banaras is one of my favorite gharanas, because when I first started learning tabla in Calcutta, my Guruji was from Banaras, Pandit Radhakanta Nandi, and he was from Banaras Gharana as Shagird of Pandit Anokhelal Mishra. So I got my first Qaida Banaras from him. I was 7 years old, and I played this Qaida, and I still love this Qaida. So this Qaida pretty goes like this: very simple, at the same time very complex, I would say. So as a young student, you just go at it and then just practice your tirkit and dhati khena and all of that good stuff with it. So it is a great Qaida. Here it is. So Banaras Qaida. Dha tere kete dhagena, dhage thu na ghena, ta tere kete takena, take dhi na ghena. Simple, but see where it goes. Dha tere kete dhagena, dhage thu na ghena, ta tere kete takena, take dhi na ghena. Dha tere kete dhagena, dhage thu na ghena, ta tere kete takena, dhi na ghena. So that's a short composition from Banaras. And now finally in Punjab. And Punjab, what I want to say is Punjab Gharana is also came a little bit from my grandfather's side, because Ustad Fakir Baksh stayed with our family. This is pre-partition era, in 1930s. Ustad Qadir Baksh's father, Fakir Baksh, came and stayed about 7 years with our family in Midnapur district, where my family is from. Ancestral home is from there. And so he stayed with our family for 7 years. And my grandfather learned for almost 7-8 years with Ustad Fakir Baksh, and then he moved on. So this Gharana was heavily influenced by Pakhawats. Lala Bhavani Das was the founder of this Gharana, and he is the one who popularized after studying from Delhi and Punjab. Gharana flourished, and he established this Gharana. And there are eventually many good maestros, including Zakir ji from Punjab Gharana. And I want to play a small qaida from that Gharana. And this particular Gharana is influenced by Ustad Allah Rakha Khan Sahab, Khan Sahab's qaida, but it's actually made by my Guruji, Samir ji. So I want to play this qaida I personally like it. So here how it goes. Dhana de dhete dhete dhage na dhage dhunna kre dhete dheke na dhati ke na. As you can see, the syllables of Pakhawaj is in this particular qaida. Kredhe, dhanag, all these syllables are characteristics of Punjab style because it's influenced by Pakhawaj. So, dhanag dhete dhete dhage na dhage dhunna kre dhete dheke dhati ke na dhati dhage dhunna ke na dhana dhete dhete ke na dhake dhunna kre dhete dheke na dhati ke dhati dhage dhunna. So I abruptly finished it. Sorry about that. But the qaida is a very beautiful qaida, and I wish I could play the entire thing. But since time is short, I'm just going to have to touch upon these things. Anyway, so now I want to get into a little bit of demonstration of Farrukhabad raela, and after that, I think the time is almost running out. So I'm going to end it after that. So here's some examples of fast moving raela. Raela that was again popularized by Ustad Ahmed Jan Thirakor Khan. And later on, after he did that, then later on Zakirji popularized also very much so, and he has come up with a few variations of that. So I'm going to try to touch upon little by little, a little bit of that. So here it is, bear with me. Okay. So hopefully I have covered pretty much every aspect of all the Gharanas and all the Qaeda side, the Peshkar side, and what I didn't cover is probably a little bit of Tukra and a little bit of Gut. So maybe for the next go around, I will cover that, because Tabla is a vast area, lots of things to cover. So if time permits, so next time what I'll do is I will talk about the Gut Tukra, Gut Tora, Utan, Paran, and Banaras Amud, and a little bit of Lucknow Raw. So all of this stuff, I'll cover it next time, hopefully. So now let's come back to Q&A. If anybody has any questions, we're just going to spend the next 15 minutes talk about if anybody has any questions. Sureshji? Acha. So does anybody have any questions? Just let me know. Okay, so somebody's asking a question, are we planning to do this sort of streaming only during the lockdown, or are we planning to do it often? Actually, this sort of streaming, I believe it's going to happen more frequently. And I will talk to Shambhuji, the cultural minister of the embassy. And I will give you, if you give your email address on Facebook, or you can contact me on my Facebook profile, I can send you an answer. I don't have an answer for this right away, but I will find an answer for you. Hello? Band kar loon? Okay. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for watching. Until next time, let's good night and God bless and stay safe. And we will talk again.